I don't take things from others, except for one thing only. The red car! What else? I've been saying this and no one has even thought of giving me one. This is upsetting. Put my face, put my face on the car. wait. Are we ready? Let's do a Dharma request. And then we can do a
We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues for the sake of this assembly and all living beings. Please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tăng thịnh, vị thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, tịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liễu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạc lạc, tốc chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed Noble and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Sa Đan Tô Su Che Do Ye Ở La Hờ Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xie. Nam mô Đặng Đắc Tha Tô Ya Đa Ya A La Đê Đam Miệu Nam Bồ Đà Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu sheng 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 wei miao fa bai qian wan jie nan zao yu. 我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。The Buddhas and bodhisattvas, Great Master Qingliang, Great Master YongHua, all monks and nuns, and all good no advisors of Emitofuo. 诸佛菩萨、精良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Chư Phật Bồ Tát kính thưa Tinh Lương Quốc sư Hòa thượng Thiên Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện trí thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone. Thank you all for coming. Today is here in the U.S. is the Christmas Eve. So nice to see you. In Korea, it's in Christmas Day. And look, there's so many conch, jewel conch. Look at that. And JMT as well. Welcome all. Welcome all. We're glad to have you. And I'm so glad that you would make time to join us today. All right. See. Today we're going to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra written by Great Master Qingliang. All right, we are on the second file. And we are currently on slide 24, did you say? 24. Okay. So how is everyone's Christmas? Yeah? Is that a big deal in Korea? So many of you are there on Christmas Day, huh? All right. Let's see. Okay. So we are speaking about the the reasons, the cause and conditions why the sutra was spoken, and it talked about the characteristics of why the sutra was considered a Buddhist sutra. There is the place where the sutra is spoken. That's one of the 6 requirements. Okay, and it turns out that so far what we learned is that this great sutra here, the highest level of wisdom in the universe, okay, is contained in this sutra, and that's why the sutra is constantly spoken everywhere. Okay, so here it says the sutra is spoken also at both pure lands as well impure lands. Okay, and so that the pure land and the pure and unclean are non-obstructive, meaning that the fact that it's spoken in the pure land doesn't mean that it should not be spoken in impure land and vice versa. And connection and restriction interpenetrate. Connection here refers to the connecting from the pure and from pure and connection from pure to impure. Restriction limited to particular the land type. Okay, connection and restriction. So we talked the last time about the fact that the people who practice Pure Land, they think that once, especially the people here in our Sao world, especially Asians who specialize in practicing Pure Land, they only wish to go away from this impure land, Sao world, into the Western Bliss Pure Land. And they say it's done for good. Actually, it's not true. The reason that the Western Bliss Pure Land was created is in order to work in conjunction with the impure land like our Sao worlds in order to help living beings become a Buddha faster, much easier for them. Okay, so actually the impure lands like our Sao world and the Western Bliss Pure Land are as pure lands are interconnected. They work in conjunction. The Buddhas do not compete with each other. Unlike us human beings, we like to compete. Buddhas, they cooperate. So so there's a very closely held connection between our world and the Pure Land, Western Bliss Pure Land. Case in point, many of us actually came from a Pure Land in order to, we came back in order to help rescue our loved ones in the past. Okay, it's not like when you go to the Pure Land, you're gone forever. You go to Pure Land in order to cultivate and find the ideal conditions for us to come back and save and rescue our loved ones, the people that we care for and we love in the past. Okay, so that's why there's a very close connection between the impure land and the Pure Land. Okay, that's how it works. So contrary to the Asian beliefs that once you go to the Pure Land, you are Western Bliss Pure Land, you're never coming back. That's what the Asians like to say. I'm getting out of here. I hate it here. Okay, and there's so much suffering here. I want to go to Western Bliss Pure Land in order to escape all this suffering and enjoy bliss only. And it turns out once you get to the Pure Land, you find out that actually when time's appropriate, when ideals, the condition ideal, you come back here in order to help rescue the loved ones that you care for because they're suffering. Okay, so that's why there is a very close connection between the Pure Land and impure lands. Okay, all right, and 25. First, as between the pure and impure, perhaps it is only the defiled, perhaps it is only the pure, as in the two previous doctrines.
出净会中，未或为染，或为净，如前二义。
Okay, so here the master explains further about the different types of the connections, the relationship between pure and impure lands. And he says, first, either you have in case of logic analysis, either you have one or the other, okay, and that's the first case. Number two, 27, perhaps both, because the flower treasury includes the sahar, perhaps neither, the characteristics of purity and defilement being ended, because they are the same as the one Dharma realm.
或具华藏内娑婆故，或明染净相近，同一法界故。
Okay, so 28 in the commentary here, it says, perhaps this place being spoken, of the sutra being spoken, could be both in the pure land, impure land, meaning that when the Saya world, when you look at from the perspective of the small micro perspective of one world, one galaxy, then the Saya world is impure. However, if you look at the Saya world as part of the flower treasury, which is pure, then you can see that the Saya world is both pure and impure. Okay, or there's another case where you should not be concerned about both pure land or impure land where the sutra is being spoken. Okay, it's because in the truth of the Buddha nature, okay, there is no such distinction of purity and defilement. Okay, because it's all one and the same Dharma realm. The distinction is only in the people's mind. It's not in the true nature at all. Okay. All right. And so on 29 here, and here the master says this particular concept that is not commonly understood by worldly people is that there's no obstruction between pure and impure. Okay, meaning that the pure land, creation of pure land, and the creation of impure land are actually not mutually obstructive. Okay, and the okay, so this reminds us that in the world of wisdom, there's no discrimination. Okay, this is a wonderful world of wisdom where we don't have any clue about. That is, unless you get there, you know why it's wonderful. It cannot be described to you. Okay, I just know that the Buddha shared this kind of wisdom we hear, where when you get there, you will discover how wonderful this kind of freedom, this kind of interpenetration, interconnection, the absence of discrimination. Okay? 30. Moreover, perhaps it is only impure because Magadha and so forth cover up the characteristics of purity.
又或为染，摩羯等复净相故。
And there's also, he also argues that this place where the sutra is spoken here in our world is actually impure, okay? Because it's at the place, the country was spoken is basically a place of where you have a lot of greed, anger, and stupidity, okay? And therefore, this overrides the purity of the Buddha nature. Okay, here's what happens. You need this is only to Buddhism, where in Buddhism we explain to you how it really functions. Okay, how does it work? Your Buddha nature, okay, inherently is pure. Okay, the Buddha nature exists, is present in all of us. Okay, it doesn't matter you're enlightened or unenlightened. The Buddha nature is in all of us. Okay, so that is pure. Okay, and however, because for those of us who are not enlightened, okay, then we have a impure part of ourselves that operates, meaning the thinking mind, that is the ego, that is full of greed, anger, and stupidity. Okay, and that is what we, the normal operating conditions for us. Okay, so what happens is that in the way it is that in the background there's something called the Buddha nature, which is pure. In the foreground is the thinking mind and the ego that impure, okay, and that intercepts everything. So that's why if you look at it, okay, then you look at the perspective of the ego alone, then it is an impure world, okay, because it's in control, okay. Until you learn how to rein in the ego, okay, your world is impure. But if you are able, so the world, as people see it, is impure because it's basically ruled by the ego of the emperor, ego of president, ego of premier, okay, ego of unenlightened living beings. Okay, and therefore, the world as we choose to see it from that perspective, that's its impure world. All right, because it intercepts everything before it gets to the Buddha nature. Okay, the ego intercepts everything. 32. Perhaps it is only pure because its ground being of Vajra, the characteristic of impurity, is ended.
或为净，其地金刚，染相净故。
Or you can speak of this sutra, this place where it's spoken is only pure. Because in at the macro level, it is spoken in the worlds of the flower treasury, okay, and if you look at the perspective, especially look at the perspective of the bodhisattvas who go there, who went to the Bodhi tree in order to listen to the Buddha's lecturing on this Avatamsaka Sutra, okay, they saw the ground be covered with Vajra. They saw the Buddha speaking the sutra in a pure land, not in an impure land. Okay. 34. Perhaps both, because there's no obstruction between the hidden and the revealed. Perhaps neither one because each obscures the other, so the two characteristics are ended.
或具隐显无碍故，或具非，各相行夺，二相尽故。
Okay. And there's also a case where on slide number 35, a case where it's spoken in both the Pure Land and Impure Land, where there's no obstruction between the hidden and revealed, okay? Meaning that the Sa world disappears inside of this huge world called the flower treasury, okay? And when you look at that macro level, okay? Or could be neither the case because we insist on one or the other. Living beings consist on one or the other. He says, I believe I'm in a pure world. This is the only thing I understand as a human being, as a living being. Whereas the Bodhisattva says, you are confused. Actually, what you're seeing is false. Actually, where you are is a pure world. Okay, they only see purity. They don't see impurities at all. And that's why they keep on coming back to our worlds and rescue us and help us out. Okay, they're not afflicted by the impurities at all. Okay. 36. Next explanation of two sets of four predications concerning the interpenetration of the connected and the restricted. That is perhaps restricted because it is this one realm.
次名通局交彻，二四句者，谓或局此一界故。
Okay, 37. This is a funny day to be discussing something that no one has really interest about. We're more interested in Christmas and the holidays. But that's at least to go through this text here and plant some seeds. Maybe in the future we find it useful. I assure you, in the future you find it useful because these seeds here will sprout in the future. Just that's be patient and plant the seeds for future reference. Okay. And now this great master Qing Liang chooses to exhibit his scholarly prowess, and he says, now we are going to analyze the two group of statements about connection with the 10 directions, or restriction to one direction or one location, and even like we should only restrict it to this How world, where the sutra was spoken in 7 places and 9 assemblies. 38. Perhaps connected because it includes the 10 directions, perhaps both because this realm is actually pervasive, perhaps neither, the two characteristics being ended.
或通该十方故，或具即此即变故，或泯两相尽故。
39. Okay. We can look at these places being spoken as connected because this is being spoken in all the 10 directions. Okay, where actually, as right now, the Flower Adornment Sutra is actually being spoken simultaneously everywhere in the universe. Okay. Or it could be the case where it's both, meaning that the Dharma realm because the location pervades the entire Dharma realm, okay, and meaning that Shakmani Buddha speaks here in the Sao world, and simultaneously, all the Buddhas also speak in all the other worlds as well. Okay, it's an inconceivable state, or perhaps neither. If you choose to look at that perspective, is okay too. Meaning that you say there's no restriction, there's no connection at all. Meaning it's we only know of this world called Sao world. It's okay too. It doesn't matter as long as we study, we learn about these wonderful principles contained here. It's perfectly okay. All the rest is just simply scholarly discussion about places, locations. We really don't matter much about your unfolding of your wisdom. 40. Moreover, perhaps it is restricted because this realm gathers in all realms. Perhaps connected because this realm enters all realms.
又或局此界摄一切故，或通此入一切故。
Okay, so the master says, do not be, how shall we say it? Do not be narrow-minded, okay? Because this realm here, as this Avatamsaka Sutra is being spoken, okay, it's actually gathers in, is able to gather in all the other realms, all the Buddha lands as well, okay, because it's not non-obstructed, okay, and so you could say that all the other realms are contained within this Sao world here, and therefore it is, you can simply look at Sao world, that's enough. Or you can say that it's connected because the Sao world, as being as we are right now, is not different from any other worlds. Perhaps both, because it both gathers and enters. Perhaps either because forms are obscured and characteristics ended.
或具即摄即入故，或泯行夺相尽故。
Perhaps both. It gathers and enters, okay? Meaning that this world here can gather in all the other worlds, okay? That this world here, in Sao world we are, okay, includes all the other worlds. All the other worlds' characteristics are concluded here. They're not separate, okay? Or perhaps neither. Neither says that there's no connection whatsoever. Okay, and therefore there's a clear distinction. There is clear separation. All right. Furthermore, if one uses a single dust mode to represent kshetras, there are also 4 predications which may be known.
又以一尘利煞，亦有4句可知。
45. Furthermore, if you take one dust mode to represent a Buddha land, okay, there are infinitely many number of Buddha lands in the universe, to the point where you take one single dust mode, you can do a one-to-one association. One dust mode can represent one Buddha land. And you see there are infinite number of dust motes. Dust motes are very, very minute particles. Okay, And therefore, if you take that perspective, you can also have 4 statements, 4 aspects. 46. If one proceeds from minute to the vast, in general, there appear 10 places.
若从狭至宽，略显10处。
And we're discussing the place where the sutra is spoken. So we say, if you, when you go from the small to the infinite, okay, then in general there appear 10 places, okay. So meaning the world you go from this world here to the worlds in the Dharma realm, thus modes into the Kshetras in the 10 directions, and you appear. There will be. There are 10 places in general. What are they? 48. First, the 7 places, the 9 assemblies, this Jambudvipa, yet also throughout the Dharma realm, as in a chapter on ascending Sumeru.
出此言符7处9会，而周法界，如身须弥品。
Okay. So first of all, this sutra being spoken in 7 different places, different locations, and have 9 assemblies among the 7 locations. Okay, they actually this in this Jambudvipa. Jambudvipa is the continent, and there's a southern continent where we reside, where the Buddha came to propagate the Dharma. Okay, and this you can take the 7 places and 9 assemblies and project them to throughout the entire Dharma realm. Okay, in the ascending Mount Sumeru chapter, it says, when the world honored one accomplishes Buddhahood, he did not rise from beneath the Bodhi tree and yet ascend to the summit of the Mount Sumeru to Trayastrimsha heaven palace to speak the Flower Adornment Sutra. Okay, and so you see, we physically, the human beings here, see Shakyamuni Buddha sitting under the Bodhi tree. Actually, if you have the spiritual eye, you can see he actually ascends to the top of the Mount Sumeru. The Mount Sumeru is where the Trayastrimsha, the heaven of 33, where the Christian God resides. Okay, and that's where he speaks. That's one of the places, 7 places where he spoke the Flower Adornment Sutra. Okay, so you look at that, then all these places are can be extended to throughout the entire Dharma realm. 2, throughout a billion individual realms of the same kind which also pervade the Dharma realm, as in the light illumination chapter.
2. 周百亿同类一界，异变法界，如光明觉品。
Okay. 51 commentary. There's also another case where you have every single realm, every single world. Okay, they all have, every single world has this the same architecture. Okay, of in the center there's a Mount Sumeru. Okay, the tallest mountain, and then it's surrounded by the 7 seas of fragrant water. And then you have the Iron Ring Mountains and the set of 4 great continents. That's the structure of each world. Okay, and you look at that structure and you see it being duplicated throughout the entire Dharma realm. And so this world here we have the same structure here in the Saha world, and this can pervade the entire Dharma realm. And this is described in the chapter of light illumination. 52.3, pervading kshetras of different kinds in the shape of trees and so forth. 4, pervading seeds of kshetras.
3. 变异类，树形等刹。4. 变刹种。
Okay, 53. The third case is that these pervades not only simply of the Dharma realm, but also all of the different kinds of places, whatever, like water flowing, like rivers, like lakes, locations, with trees and so forth. Okay, there is everywhere without distinction, and number 4 is pervade the seeds of all the worlds. See, our lotus flower banner world system, where we are, has 20 tiers. Okay, and we'll be clearer as we examine the structure later described in the sutra of this universe. And each tier has boundless seeds of worlds. Okay. 54.5, pervading a flower treasury. 6, pervading the rest of the seeds of kshetras, whether seeds or kshetras.
变华藏。6. 变于刹海，若种若刹。
Since you seem to be so interested, you probably understand kshetra. Kshetra is a Sanskrit word for Buddha land. Okay, as a universe, consists of galaxies that we know it. Actually, the Buddha lands, where each galaxy or each Buddha land is created by the cultivation of the Buddhas. They're the end result of someone becoming a Buddha and choosing that particular vehicle in order to bring living beings to those places, to those kshetras, or Buddha lands, in order to save them. So, for example, in the Sao world, here where we are, is a kshetra, a Buddha land, created by Shakmini Buddha in order to save us, okay, to help us cultivate and become a Buddha ourselves. So it says here in the 5th case here, this location pervades the entire flower treasury, and where he teaches the Flower Adornment Sutra. And number 6 case is that he pervades the rest of the kshetra trees and world systems, where the seeds are kshetras. 7. Pervading the previous 6 kinds of kshetras, dust motes, all of which have kshetras of similar and different kinds.
7. 变前6类刹尘，亦有同异类刹。
Okay, 57. Now we're looking into the infinite within the infinite. Okay, so you have kshetras. Those kshetras, which are themselves are kshetras. Okay, so you have the power, the secret to the power kshetras. Okay, and that's why it's very dizzying for the conscious mind to try to follow, try to understand this. Okay, and this is not something that our thinking mind can possibly grasp or understand. So seeing this, hearing this, okay, you will see that eventually the Buddhist practice is to help you let go of your attachment to your thinking mind so that one day you'll be able to see this infinite world that your thinking mind prohibits you from seeing, from grasping. 8. Places to the ends of the realm of empty space and what is encompassed by the tip of every hair, each of which has boundless seas of kshetras.
8. 尽虚空界容一一毛端之处，各有无边刹海。
Now, this is from the eyes of the Buddhas. Okay? He says, from here to the end of the realm of empty space, infinitely to empty space. Okay? And it is from here, our world here, to the end of space. But all of this can be contained on the tip of a hair. Okay? And this tip of a hair actually has boundless seas of kshetras. Boundless Buddha lands are contained in a tip of a hair. All right? Don't try to understand. 9. Like Indra's net, 10 the same as all other Buddhas.
9. 由地往10与佛同。
Okay, so the 9th case is where, in the Indra's net, the Indra's is that God King has a net that has infinite pearls encrusted within each coordinate, each intersection, right there, and so they are mutually shining on each other. And number 10, every Buddha upon accomplishing Buddhahood and speaks the Dharma Sutra just like Shakyamuni Buddha. So this repeats infinitely throughout the universe. Okay, so you see, what we have here is something that we cannot possibly understand, and this is why this reinforces the Mahayana approach to teaching. Okay, there's no way to explain this to you. There's no way for you to understand, and no way for us to explain to you because you cannot understand. The only way for you to verify this for yourself, to ascertain this for yourself, okay, is for you to see it for yourself. Because how can we describe infinite number of worlds? Okay, it's not enough time. Okay, and therefore, the only way for you to experience this is for you to become a Buddha yourself. Okay, and then you will verify it yourself. So this is the nature of the Buddhist teaching. You verify yourself, and what is required, okay, is instead of insisting on using your thinking mind to understand, instead, okay, you should be doing what we've been doing in a sense that you should have faith in the Buddha's teaching, and the Buddha would never lie to us, okay, and as you have this faith here and follow the instructions, then you'll be able to verify it yourself. That's all. That's the only way for you to get there, is to have faith. It's not about understanding. It's not about comprehension. It's not about knowledge. It's about faith. Only through faith can you enter this world of infinite. It's not meant to be understood. It's meant for you to experience it. And this is what, to me, makes Master YongHua so fascinating, because he's the first monk I'm aware of who insists on explaining the Flower and Dharma Sutra to us Westerners who are still struggling with half lotus. Okay, we can't even sit in half lotus without pain. And he's talking about this incredible world to these people back then in 10 years. That's incredible. Okay. 62. Although of the previous 10 kinds, each pervade the Dharma realm, still the first 9 are the actual places where Vairochana speaks Dharma.
然上10类一一各变法界，而前9正是遮那说法之处。
63. Commentary. Okay. It goes on and on like this. It keeps on talking about things that I can't even keep track of, to be honest with you. I lost track of what he's trying to tell me already. Okay, and to me, it's kind of funny here, and that Master Jingyang knows full well that we can't keep up with him, and yet he keeps on insisting, explaining and talking about this. Okay, and so you see right there, and there is you see the objective is just to help you plant the seeds. Did you have a question? Black.
Yes. So in the beginning, a little bit earlier, it was talking about like a bodhisattvas actually saw the ground as Vajra.
Yes.
So I know we shouldn't try to understand it, but I was just thinking that do the bodhisattvas we know kind of have that state? They see Vajra ground, or this only happens to the bodhisattvas in the sutra? That it just seems like so far away from our reality, and then yeah. So I don't know if obviously this is a stupid question. But.
Okay, no, it's a fair question. That is, we spend so much time discussing this, preparing this, discussing this, and investing in equipment and electricity and so forth to discuss this. There must be a reason for this, okay? And it's a fair question. So how does it relate to us? We are not bodhisattvas. Why are we talking about this? Okay, so which bodhisattvas can see, or all the bodhisattvas can see? It's not important. You missed the point. Okay, the point here is that the Buddha says this is happening everywhere, every single moment. This sutra being spoken everywhere. Okay, that's an inconceivable state like by itself in that statement. It's being spoken everywhere. Constantly, non-stop. Let's forget about the Bodhi tree first. Just think about that state where it's being spoken constantly, everywhere in the universe. What you asked about is one instance in that is being described for our sake. Okay, so this is an inconceivable state that here's what's going to happen. You need to become enlightened first in order to be to reach his level of wisdom. Okay, so this we're talking about higher level enlightenment, where you not only are you enlightened, meaning you have wisdom, you also have the wisdom of the Buddha. This is we're talking about the wisdom of the Buddha. Okay, and these bodhisattvas who are exposed to this vision, to this teaching, are very high level. Okay, and the question is, why is it too far-fetched for us? Not necessarily, because you are discriminating between yourself and the Buddhas and the bodhisattvas. Number one. Number two, you still have this notion of time. To you, it's like it's going to take us forever to get there. Yes and no. It may take forever, but once you get there, it seems like it's in a flash. So it's forever and both, and instantaneously at the same time. That's the inconceivable state. Okay, as long you discriminate, then you struggle, and this is just like from our perspective. Okay, from your perspective, when you ask this question, instead of trying to make sense out of it, you should look at it as like a marvelous, wonderful thing, wonderful state of mind, where it transcends time, it transcends place. This is the kind of enlightenment level that is not talked about in a Chan school, in a Pure Land school, in a Tantra school. Okay? Only in this perfect teaching where you need to have this kind of wisdom, kind of faith, in order to become a Buddha yourself. Did I answer your question? Okay, you're still discriminating, that's why you struggle. Instead, I remind you, it's kind of tough, especially on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, to sit here and listen to this, seriously? And in a way, it's our blessings, because we're able to listen to this and plant these vajra seeds, okay? And let's face it, it's way beyond us. We don't understand this. There's no way for us to put our arms around it. So the only thing left is just listen to it and say, oh, someday I will. Okay? All right. 64. Moreover, of the places where the 10 dwellings and so forth are spoken, although each pervades the Dharma realm up to including dust and hairs.
然说十住等处，虽复各变法界，乃至成毛。
65. 65. Okay. Again, this is places that are contained within, kshetras, contained within hairs, dust motes as kshetras and so forth, infinitely. But actually, this is the state of the teaching of the Buddha, so that he teaches all living beings everywhere. Okay, but do not lose sight of the fact that, for example, here in the 10 dwellings, okay, 10 dwellings here. That's why he teaches the arhats, the people who have wisdom, okay, who put an end to the ego. And he says, now you kill the ego, you put an end to the self. In order for you to develop further wisdom, okay, unlike the Hinayana, where they're stuck. They don't know what to do. In our world, in Mahayana world, there's something called 10 dwellings, where you'll be taught how to move away from being stuck in a 4-stage arhat to through this cultivation of 10 dwellings, okay, which will open, will further elevate your level of wisdoms. Okay, so in the Flower Dharma Sutra, do not be turned off by these things you don't understand. Actually, it's very, very, very important information in here, where actually it details how we develop the arhats and help them become enlightened through these Dharma doors. Okay, so in other words, you can look at it from both perspectives. That is, if you are at a lower level, then you know what it takes, the progression for you to get up there. Okay, these phases that you need to, these skills or these Dharma doors you need to go through. Or if you are at a higher level, okay, you not only are you learning about the unobstructions of the universe and the inconceivable infinity of your mind. Okay, and that's how you become a Buddha. Not only are you becoming a Buddha, you also are learning how to train the lower levels. So it systematizes how people can be developed, how wisdom can be developed. 66. The doors still are not identical, nor are they confused.
为门不同，亦无杂乱。
67. In order to open your wisdom, there are specific Dharma doors, okay, that you must cultivate, you must be taught in order to progress in the right direction. Okay, so for example, here in the Flower and Ornament Sutra, more so than any other sutras, it's detailed how you progress from a 4-stage arhat to become fully enlightened, from a small enlightenment to the big enlightenment. Okay, the small enlightenment, you can have many simple ways, okay, to reach the state where you put an end to the ego. Okay, that's called small enlightenment. When you reach that level of small enlightenment, then you can be taught. I keep on emphasizing that. Why in Buddhism we stress so much that the arhats is important milestone, but it's not meant to be an end goal, not be an end point. Only a milestone, a very important milestone, because when your ego comes to an end, okay, when you put an end to your ego, meaning that you no longer are so full of yourself, so sure of yourself. Okay, that's when you can be taught. Until then, it's very difficult to teach you. The other night, for example, I was talking Dharma, and one of my disciples, he started losing his temper and started raising his voice. And I raised mine, and I said, cut it out, stop it, okay? And he stopped immediately. Whereas years ago, he would be storming out of the Buddha hall and said, I'm not coming back here. So that's the difference. I don't know how else to relate to you, okay? Because until you put an end to the ego, okay, teaching you is not possible. You will not listen. You don't believe. Who doesn't believe? Your ego does not believe. There's nothing we can do. Okay? But once you put an end to the ego, then you go through these phases, the 10 dwellings, the 10 conducts, and why dwellings, why conducts. Maybe we have the chance to go into that. Okay? This is very important for developing and producing bodhisattvas, especially in the West. Okay? So why 10 dwellings? Why 10 conducts? Why 10 transferences? Because of that, then you can become enlightened. And this is fairly well detailed in the Flower and Dormant Sutra. Okay, so this sutra is really incredible. Then the Master Jing Liang then took a step further. Instead of looking at the sutra text himself, he says he amalgamated, okay, all the sutra teachings into these profound principles. That he says, maybe you don't get it. It doesn't matter. You should listen to these principles. This is what the sutra is about. So that why? Because that will help you become a Buddha faster when you get up there to the high levels. And again, why are we studying right now? We're studying right now because we have the blessings. Okay? These things, in order for them to blossom, to sprout, we need a lot of these seeds. The more seeds, the quicker they sprout. So the Dharma doors are very specific. They are very scientific in a way, very precise. You know, depending where you are, okay, your training, you'll be taught the proper Dharma doors in order for you to progress through. Okay, and that's from the perspective of gradual teaching. Okay. Even when you do certain teaching in Chan school, you still need all the preparations. Let me explain to you what certain teaching involves. Certain teaching, basically, you leap, you jump. Gradual teaching, you go from one level to level 2, level 3, level 4, and so forth. So far, so good. So you prepare. At level 1, you're at level 1, then you need to prepare, okay, do all the preparation and so forth in order to move on to level 2, okay? And then from 2, you all do all the preparation and to move on to level 3. Not only must you prepare, you also have to build momentum as well in order to take a leap. Okay, it's very precise in Mahayana. Okay, and you do that, and that's called gradual teaching. So it's called preparation. So when the Chan school talks about certain teaching, you go from level 1, you leap to level 5, level 4, level 7. Okay, what does it mean? It means that you still have to prepare, do all the preparation, so that you have all the requisite skills and blessings and the knowledge and the wisdom in order to leap. So gradual is that you go one step at a time, whereas certain teaching that you prepare all at once, so that you can do the leap. All right? So that's why it's very scientific, very precise, if you will. It's not haphazard at all. Unlike the Hinayana, what happened in Hinayana teaching, because they don't have the exact knowledge, what it takes to go from one level to the next level, to the next level, next level, they don't have that, okay? So what they did is they do brute force. Brute force is that you sit there long enough, and the self will get tired and die down. That's all. Well, that's a brute force. We call it brute force. Whereas in Mahayana, we know the components of the ego, so that's why instead of doing brute force, we can do maneuver, okay? And that's why Mahayana training is so much more effective, so much faster, because we're able to maneuver around your ego. If you have enough faith and belief, instead of keep on asking, why? All right. 68. If one estimates that of the 10 dwellings, the 10 conducts, and so forth, the position as a whole include each other, then they do not coexist, and each pervades the Dharma realm.
若曰实住与实行等全未相摄，则彼此互无，无变法界，各变法界。
Okay, 69. He says, because each specific Dharma door, okay, is distinctive, okay, meaning you have from the fourth stage Arhat, okay, we're learning here in the sutra. After the fourth stage Arhat, you need to move into the 10 dwellings arena, domains. And after the 10 dwelling domain, you need to go into the 10 conducts. And after the 10 conducts, you need to go into the 10 transferences. And hopefully we have time to go into these chapters. Okay. And after the 10 transferences, then you go into the 10 grounds. 10 grounds is the sagely grounds where you actually become enlightened. Okay. And there are 10 grounds there. Each ground has its own specific characteristics. If you know those, then it makes it easier for you to ascend those grounds. Okay, so this Mahayana knowledge is very detailed here, is detailed out here in this Flower Adornment Sutra. This is why this sutra is so important for Mahayana. Unless you have this knowledge here, you cannot train people. So that's why I don't like it when I hear monks say, I specialize in Pure Land, I specialize in Chan, I specialize in Tantras and so forth. Okay? That is not Mahayana. Mahayana is Flower Adornment Sutra. And this is why we should all be so grateful to have the chance to hear about this. Because people in China did not. He did not explain the sutra until he came here, in this country. Because people here are supposed to learn about this in order to have a better chance to become enlightened. And you can say that here he says that each position, whether it's 10 dwelling, 10 conducts, and so forth, include each other. Okay, so of course, they include each other, but at the same time, they're separate, depending who you are. 70. If one estimates that all the positions assist each other, then they do coexist and simultaneously pervade the Dharma realm.
若曰诸位相资，则彼此互有，同遍法界。
71. If you happen to believe that the positions are mutually assisting each other, okay, then therefore they do coexist and simultaneously pervade the Dharma realm. This, wherever you are in the Dharma realm, whether you're here in Sour World or you go to Western Bliss Pure Land, you still need to traverse these positions in order to become a Buddha. So these positions, these teachings are valid throughout the Dharma realm. Okay. 72. Each and every chapter and assembly may be known by this standard.
一一会品，准此知之。
And all the 39 chapters here, and that we have a chance to study in the sutra, and all the 9 assemblies are like that. They are distinctive. They are, and yet they're mutually, they are mutually contained within each other as well, depending on your perspective, depending on how you are taught, how you trained. 74. In the 10th, the same as all other Buddhas. This Buddha being such, the other Buddhas are thus too.
10. 与佛同者，此佛即耳；与佛亦然。
75. In the 10th case here, the 10th preposition, this kind of place is being the same as all the other Buddhas, and therefore there's no more distinction between this Buddha versus the other Buddhas, where they speak the Dharma, where and when. 76. Therefore, all assemblies' final connecting sections all say, all we Buddhas also speak that way.
故诸会解通，皆云我等诸佛亦如是说。
77. When all assemblies in the final connecting section, they all say that they all state that all Buddhas speak like this, speak the same thing, teach the same thing to everyone, everywhere, at all times. Okay, so it's a certification that you should not have any doubt wherever you go. Don't say that. I can't wait to go to the Pure Land to learn from learn Amitabha Buddha, so that I can become a Buddha there. What you're learning here from Shakyamuni Buddha is the same as what you'll be learning in Amitabha Buddha or any other Buddha lands. Okay, and therefore the seeds you're planting here will also have a chance to sprout in any of the other Buddha lands. '78. Since hosts do not see each other, attendants do not see each other, But a host with attendants and attendants with a host do see each other.
然主不相见，伴不相见，主伴主则互相见。
79. It says here, hosts do not see each other, and attendants do not see each other. So here, host here is the Buddha who speaks the Flower Dormant Sutra, and that they don't see each other because they are not hosting at the same place at the same time. Okay. Whereas when talk about attendance here, the Buddhas can also act as attendants, okay, and they come and listen to other Buddhas speak Flower Dormant Sutra, okay, and therefore when you are in that state, then you the only one speaker host, Buddha, whereas the other Buddhas are attendants. They're not see each other as Buddhas. Okay. And with the hosts, with attendants, then with the hosts do see each other. And in this case here, this happens that the Buddhas with their attendants and see each other because they all belong to the same assembly, even though they don't necessarily speak the Flower Dormant Sutra. They still come and support each other. 81. If they did not see each other, then each would pervade the Dharma realm.
若互不相见，即各遍法界。
Commentary 82. If they not see each other, then each would pervade the entire Dharma realm. Okay, so his teaching pervades the entire Dharma realm, not just, for example, Shakyamuni Buddha doesn't just speak the Flower Dormant Sutra here in the Sara world. He also speaks the entire Dharma realm. Okay. And 83, since they do see each other, then they simultaneously pervade the Dharma realm, being neither confused for one another nor obstructed by one another.
互相见故，同遍法界，亦无杂乱，亦无障碍。
There's a case where Shakyamuni Buddha, in 84, Shakyamuni Buddha can sit here and speak a Flower Dormant Sutra, and he can actually be seen as speaking the Flower Dormant Sutra throughout the entire Dharma realm. Okay, that's the case. Okay, on the other case where you actually see each Buddha speaking the Flower Dormant Sutra in each Buddha land, okay, and they can see each other doing that work. Okay, that does not obstruct them at all, and they also can simultaneously pervade the entire Dharma realms, layers upon layers of Buddhas speaking infinitely. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. And even though they are simultaneous, yes, go ahead, Jewel Mountain Temple.
Thank you, Master. It's an honor to ask the question to Master.
Yes.
I've listening Master's Dharma talk for 1 month every day. I listen when I drive, rest at home, during lunchtime at work. I'm not good at English, so I can't fully understand the Master's words, but I listened as hard as I was studying for the English listening test.
Yes.
Since I listen to Master's Dharma, I think less, worry less, and sleep better. And I was happy to listen Master's Dharma talk repeatedly through YouTube. My problem is that I'm not good at enduring pain. It's so
I'm sorry?
hard for me to sit in full lotus position.
It's too much pain in full lotus. Yes, okay.
I'm so fat. I have no strength in my legs and no flexibility.
Okay.
I'm not confident in performing with my body. Master emphasized that Buddhism is not speaking, not intellectual perception, but performed with action.
Yes.
But it's too difficult for me to practice it.
Yes.
And I have two questions. First, if it's okay to listen the lecture lying down when I'm tired. Is it too rude to lie down and listen to the lecture on my phone? And the other question is it meaningful to listen the lecture even though I cannot see full lotus?
That's a tough question. Excellent. I'm glad you asked the questions. Thank you for asking the questions. Okay. I'm very, very happy to hear that, it takes a lot of work for us to do Dharma talks and lecture every night. It's so much work for us. Okay. And my students complain a lot. They complain that they can't not do anything. They fall behind in the workload. And yet we need to keep up with these talks every single night. And so for you, and I notice quite a few people listen to these Dharma talks every day. Okay, and that's we're so happy with that, and that actually some people are benefiting from it. Yes, absolutely. Let's go through some of the points you made, all right, before I answer your questions. Okay, number one, when the Dharma is spoken, when you listen to the Dharma, okay, the Dharma is supposed to help you think less. Okay, and that's called power of the Dharma. Mahayana, when you listen to Mahayana teachings, for some reason, the mind relaxes and it thinks less. It's automatic. Okay, so the more you listen to the Dharma, the more your mind rests and you think less. Okay. And it carries on to the rest of the day, okay, to the other activities, okay. And what happened is that when you listen to the Dharma like that, yeah, it takes a lot of time, but when you would help you get these benefits when you think less, meaning that you actually are energizing yourself, are saving your energy and energizing yourself, so that when you finish listening or whatever you do, meditating or listening to the Dharma, and you go back to work, you have a lot more energy for work. Okay, or I know some people they got to the point where they drive home from work and they would turn on a Dharma talk. Okay, and so during the drive there, okay, I remind them, please do not enter samadhi. Make sure you don't get into an accident. Okay, but you go home again as you listen to Dharma, you re-energize yourself, now you go home and you will have more energy for your family. Okay? So actually, in general, when you listen to the Dharma, it actually is very helpful. People think, erroneously think that they're wasting time. Actually, they're saving time because they have a lot more energy. The mind's a lot faster, stronger when they need to use it. So the idea here is that, think about this, okay? The idea here is that the very moment we get up in the morning until we go to bed, our mind races constantly, nonstop. Okay? And because of that, okay, we get tired and we age and we get sick. Okay? And as the day progresses, goes along, we have less and less energy and our mind becomes less and less efficient. Okay? And what happens is then what we do, what people do is they work longer hours. They work day and night. Okay? And it's working very inefficiently. Whereas you need to have a balance in life. And yeah, you don't need to listen to the Dharma every day like that, because that's 1.5 hours every day and 2 hours on the weekends. And that's too much time. It's way too much time. Okay, that's unreasonable. But every now and then, beware of that. When you are tired, okay, when you're running out of energy, that's when you need to learn to stop thinking. That's very important. Find a way to stop thinking. Okay, that's a skill in Buddhism. It's not, we teach the Dharma, whatever we do is to help you develop the ability or at least experience the state where your mind is at rest. That's the secret. It's not about all this, is really meaningless. All this thing here, I don't understand it that much more than you, okay? I understand probably a little bit more than you because I read it one more time than you, okay? But all this had this magical effect of helping our mind stop. And that's so critical in helping you develop your wisdom. Because you cannot have wisdom if you are constantly tired. And you constantly are thinking. So in Buddhism, one of the very important skills in Buddhism is to go into the state where you can rest, your mind can stop and rest for a while so that you need to experience it. Okay, so that's why I'm very glad that you're doing that, and it's difficult because while we're doing that, we also teach you to sit in full lotus. Okay, and the legs hurt. Okay, and you can't concentrate on the talk, and that's part of the training. Okay, the training in Buddhism is this. Let me tell you another secret, okay, that we don't back down from this, okay? In order for you to improve, you need to do something that you cannot. You need to train yourself to do something you cannot, okay? And meaning, you do something that's too hard for you that you have to fail. Okay, that's how you get new skills, develop new skills. Okay? In order to develop new skills, you have to fail. Okay? Because you are trying to do, or you're asked to do something that you cannot. Okay? So as you fail and you fail, and this training process here, as you fail because you run out of the legs are too much in pain, you're too tired, too sleepy, okay, you're too hungry, okay, you fail, Okay, we all have our limitations. Every time you fail, you actually, you know what happened? Every time you fail, your strength increases and increases and increases. This is Buddha's secret. This is why my master and myself, we don't hesitate to push you. Master YongHua says in his Dharma talk, says, you cannot be lazy. Yeah, okay? I put it in terms, you have to work harder. You have to push yourself. Only you can push yourself. Okay? And when you push yourself, this is the secret. This environment where you learn, create this environment where you can come, and this environment, and you push yourself. Okay? This ideal environment where you push yourself. You're so tired that you say, then your mind says, okay, I'm too tired. I'm not going to think anymore. See where I'm going? You're so tired, your mind says, stop, I'm not thinking anymore. I'm too tired to think. And that's the state of mind I need you to experience. Okay? So it's not about you are listening, sitting there and not being able to concentrate. It's not that important. Okay? It's not, I don't care if you get it or not. Okay? What happened is that even when you're tired, okay, and when you show such great pain, you can still hear. Even though you don't get it, it still goes into your head. Okay? But your ego is complaining so loud that you think you're not hearing it. Well, actually, it still enters your ear organ. So it still goes into your mind. Just the ego says, no, I don't like this. It's too pain. This doesn't make sense. It complains constantly. And that's what is expected to happen. So don't worry if you can't concentrate and so forth. And when you listen to Dharma because your legs hurt too much, bear with it. Okay? Keep fighting as long as you can, and you fail. Next time, keep fighting more and more. Eventually, you overcome it. Okay? And that's a natural thing, natural part of the process. Okay? Now, does it help with the I'm revealing the secrets here that this is, I don't mind revealing it to you because it's not understood. Master YongHua did that when he taught them. He taught his disciples. Unfortunately, I wasn't among them. Okay, so I understand the process. Okay, from watching from afar, I see why it's happening. Okay, why he did that. Okay, and so part of this process here is the secret recipe, you will, that he brought from China to share with the world. Not just the U.S. The U.S. is the one stopping point. We want to share it, he says. We're going to share all this knowledge to everywhere, okay, when we have a chance, okay? And your country is the first one that we chose to share with, okay, from the U.S., okay? So all this, by the way, okay, is not about understanding. I stress to you again. It's about trying. Okay, and failing. We know you're going to fail, okay, but you keep at it, and that's a natural. This is the secret about how you're going to improve, because you keep at it, okay. Now, your question is about can I when I'm too tired, can I lie down, listen to the Dharma? Don't tell others, okay. Master YongHua, he says, when you listen to the Dharma, you need to sit straight and be proper and listen with utmost attention and with utmost respect. I listen to that. That's one of the first things I learned I read from his books, okay, in English. And my reaction is that I don't care. I'm too tired. So either I lie down, listen to the Dharma, or I don't listen at all. And so it never stopped me. You know, I'm tired, and I would listen to the Dharma, and I tell you a funny thing too. I would lie down on the sofa, okay, listen to the Dharma, and I would fall asleep, and it would feel so good. So the Dharma was acted like my sleeping pills. Okay, so I don't agree with all the Chinese styles of you need to sit straight, listen attentively. I don't care. Okay, it's to me it will happen naturally once you have wisdom, once you have the skills. Okay, when you are enlightened, like great master Yin Guang, okay, of the Pure Land School, or the sixth patriarch, you will sit, you know, beautifully adorned, like in perfect position, maybe, and that's how they are. So the teaching is meant for you to give you a clue of how to recognize the people who have wisdom, and teach you what's the proper technique for it. But for us, we're low level. I have no problem. You slouch and you bend your heads and you lie down and whatever, okay, as long as it's you trying your best and you fail. It's perfectly okay. Okay. For me, my training stresses failure, not perfection. Okay, so absolutely, if you listen to it lying down, I have no problem with it. Or and listen to it and fall asleep and feel so great about it, I think is wonderful. I did all those too. Okay, and look, I still have 2 arms and 2 legs, so it's perfectly okay. All right. What happened is that what's more important is not so much whether you sit down or you lie down or you sit in a perfect position. What's most important, much more important, is that you spend the time, okay, to listen to the proper Dharma. That is irreplaceable. Okay? And much more important, I need to stress to you, is that if you're going to spend the time, listen to the proper Dharma. Don't listen to the not proper Dharma. It's not a good use of your time. Okay? When you listen to the proper Dharma, whether you're sleeping or even at night, okay, you turn on the machine, turn on the tapes that recordings that play the mantras or the sutras and so forth. Okay, it's a good thing as well. Okay, if you are not married, when you listen to the proper Dharma, okay, that is extremely beneficial for you. All right? Did I answer all your questions, or are there still other questions?
답변 너무너무 감사드리고 시간을 드리는 게 더 중요하다는 말씀 잘 명심하고 끊지 않고 계속 지속해서 리스닝 잘 하겠습니다. 너무 감사드리고 마스터지 스님이 한국에 계시게 이런 보산사에 계시게 해주셔서 또 다시 한번 감사드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you for your answer. I keep listening your Dharma talk, and thank you for having Masterji here.
Okay, could you repeat, please? I missed that part. Repeat.
Thank you for your answer. I'll keep listening your Dharma talk. Thank you for having Masterji in Korea.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming. Okay, thank you for supporting him. Okay. All right, YouTube has a question.
More like a comment, Master. So Jason K said, I heard Master Hua said, you lay down and listen to the Dharma, you will become stupid. You're supposed to be respectful and sit straight like a bell while listening to the Dharma.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm stupid. Because I did that. I lie down. I like to lie down, listen to the Dharma. And that's why I'm pretty stupid myself. But my student too, I don't ask them to lie down, to sit up and listen to the Dharma either. And they don't seem to be that stupid. Okay, so in all seriousness, if you are following Master YongHua's training, then absolutely follow his instructions. Meaning that you listen to his tapes, you go to his temples, you follow his students, okay? Then you should follow Master YongHua's instructions, all right? Meaning that if he tells you not to waste water, don't waste water. If he tells you to sit straight, sit straight. He tells you not to lie down, don't lie down. That's what I recommend to you. However, you ask me about what he teaches his students versus what I teach my students. That's different, okay? They're different people. There's not such a one teaching that fits, that works for everyone. My students are pretty unruly, just like myself. See, if I force them to sit, they say, I don't like this. They walk away, okay? And I don't have that many students, so if I force them, I won't have anyone to come to my temple anymore. So I have no choice but adapt, okay? But he's different. He's a patriarch, he's a man of virtue, and he has tremendous credentials, okay? So he teaches them because these people are different. They're maybe, could we say, better or superior? I don't know, okay? But, so do not confuse the two. There are two different groups of students. His students are different from my students, number one, okay? And so number two is that, let me give you a clue, a hint, okay? And let's talk about, for example, I give you two examples. For example, he says, don't waste water, don't waste food. I tell my students, waste water, waste food, waste electricity. Why? The times are different. Let me tell you. When I was studying at his temples, they proudly said, you know, Master YongHua taught his students to be so frugal. You know, they take this cucumber and it's all rotten, and they put it under the water and they clean it slowly so that until it's only all the rotten part is gone except for the one small piece left. You see this big cucumber, it's all rotten, and they patiently waited and cleaned the whole thing until one piece left, and they would use it to cook. And I said, wait a minute. No wonder my water bill was so high. I'm saving a $2 cucumber and paying $5 worth of water. I don't know what water cost back then when he taught him this, but for me, I'm a lot poorer. I cannot afford to have my students waste $5 of water, okay, in order to save a $1 or $2 cucumber. That's, to me, is from a business perspective, it doesn't pay. It's nonsense, okay? And electricity. You know, they say the kids, they don't turn the lights in the house. They go in each room, they turn on the lights and run away, and they don't turn off the lights. I agree with that. We should teach them, electrocute them if they don't turn off the lights at the house. I agree. But the temple is different. Here, let me tell you, I tried to teach my students that, and she would not listen. I said, listen, I don't know about you Asians, but the Caucasian girls I know, when they go to a place, when it's dark, they get scared, they get uncomfortable. And for us, this Dharma here, in order for this Dharma to serve the Caucasians, we need to adapt to their needs. We cannot, you cannot leave the dining hall half lit, and they go and they bump the knees, or they trip on something and they step on something, and they damage their expensive shoes. They walk away very unhappy. Okay, and in particular, the one thing I learned in marketing in business school is that when you want to appeal to women, it has to be brightly lit and clean. Okay? I'm talking about white women, okay? Not you Asians. So I tried to teach my Asian disciple that. She would not listen to me. I don't care. I threaten her, I beat her up, I verbally abuse her. Nothing worked. He says, nope. Master YongHua says we will not waste electricity. Okay, but how can I fight Master YongHua? Okay, but finally she's beginning to understand when I explained to her that I would rather waste one electricity, okay, so that you have time to help others instead of going around the temple over and over again and turn off the lights after the boys. Okay, that's not efficient for me, not good use of your time. So my point being that when he taught, Master YongHua taught those being thrifty, being economical, is for certain kinds of people. Okay? My students are not like that. I'm more concerned about developing my students' wisdom in order for them to help living beings. So if for that to happen, I need to allow them to waste electricity, waste food, waste money, then so be it. I'm willing to do that because it's my blessings. I'm the one who paid for the utility bills. I'm the one who pays for the groceries. Okay? So it's my blessings. So it's my gift to them so that they can be developed. Okay? So because I'm helping develop their wisdom. Okay? Being thrifty does not necessarily open the wisdom. Because I see how he trained his disciples, okay? And how I train my disciples, I feel that my disciples have higher level of wisdom than his. So that's why the instructions are different. So again, I remind you, when you go to his temples, don't waste water. Don't waste electricity. You come to my temple, anything goes. All right? So that's part of Buddha's wisdom, the Italian wisdom. You know what they say, don't you? When in Rome, do the same thing as the Romans. Okay? Come to my temple, waste all you want, as long as you become enlightened. You become enlightened, you have to deal with me. When you have no potential to become enlightened, then I will teach you to be thrifty, because you need to save all your blessings in order to become enlightened. When I feel you have enough blessing to become enlightened, I'd rather you wait so that you save time and progress quicker. So it's different kinds of people, different circumstances. Okay? So I would call his Chinese Wei Yang, and mine is American Wei Yang. We're big, we're wasteful. Okay, thank you for your questions. Good night, everyone. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. I heard we have a small